Hey there, Tiff here. Well, today I think it's really important that we start focusing on some positive aspects in your sport. And why do I say that? Well, I say that because I know sometimes you just don't perform the way that you want to. And I know sometimes that you beat yourself up about that performance and it's just not good enough. And I know that you have these high expectations of yourself and you think that you should be so much better, right? And that you should be performing so much better every time you step out and play your sport. I understand that. I feel the same way too. But we have to work in ways in which to manage that so much better so that we can perform better when we go and play in our sport and we're doing all the right things that's actually going to give us that chance of improvement and that chance of getting that result we're after by making the changes. We don't want to feel down and depressed about what's going on, because remember, for one, we're doing it for enjoyment, and two, we're doing it because we love to play that sport, but we don't want to be hard on ourselves around that, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about ways in which you can then manage yourself better, especially in times when you are really frustrated with your sport and you're not performing the way that you want to and you feel down about it. We're going to work on that today. So don't go anywhere. I'll be with you very shortly. Hey there, Tiff here. Welcome to Ambition Habits. Lovely to have you here today. So, the frustration of playing sport, it can get to you, can't it? You know, like I'm just coming back into the competitive side of things. I've been a coach for a long time, especially through tennis and golf for many years. And I haven't competed in sport myself for quite some time. So I'm starting to experience all of this again myself. And I'd forgotten what it feels like to put yourself under that pressure of performance. So that's what we're going to be working through as we go, because I'll take you on a journey of understanding what's going on, because I'm there too. I'm back in the arena with you in my sport, wanting to get the most out of me and the best out of me that I can, and I want to make sure that we can do that for you too. So we're going to go on that journey together. So today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about how you can bounce back stronger. Bounce back so much better, especially after playing a competition that you weren't overly happy with, right? Something that's made you feel quite disappointed, and you thought that you could have actually done better and you didn't, and you can't really understand why. But the other aspect of that is like, well, how are you going to then move forward and then approach the next game that you play in a more positive mind state versus, oh gee, I hope I don't do that again. Gee, I was so bad when I played yesterday. Oh, I don't want to be like that when I play tomorrow or next week. I want to be so much better. How am I going to be so much better? Because I don't want to take that with me. And a huge thing around that is we can't go back into the past in the sense of bringing the past forward and putting that into the future, and that's the thing that's going to happen. That tends to be a lot about what happens to people as they get, especially when they start getting into a slump, is that they start bringing the past back in with them into the future, and then they keep performing the same way, and they can't understand why that's happening. But they're actually, because they've had such a bad experience in that last game that they played, they're expecting that they're going to do that again, right? They haven't learnt the lessons from that. So if you've actually listened to some recent podcast episodes, I've actually been talking about that, ways in which you can start analysing your game better so that you are then going to perform better in your sport the next time you go and play, because you're learning lessons from it. So we're just going to expand that a little bit further today, and we're going to talk about this area that I think is really important that we need to address so that you can keep moving forward and keep approaching your next round of your sport competition with excitement with anticipation of excitement, and working on looking in ways in which you're getting that feedback that you need so that you can improve. So what we're going to do here is the first thing that I want you to do is actually look at your strengths. So what do you do really well in your sport? I want you to really think about that. Why are you so good in your sport in these particular areas? Okay, so I can give you some examples. Like I know with golf, like I've got a really strong tee shot, and it's not. Yes, I can hit the ball with decent distance, but I hit it straight. You know, it's very rare that I go off track. My approach shots into the green, they're pretty straight. Very confident in my putting because I have a great strategy in place, right? Very confident out of the bunker because I know the technique that I need to play. Very confident with my chipping because I've worked my chipping out so that it's very strong and competent. Pitching into the greens from 50 metres out, very strong in that area because I know the pitching technique that I need in place. The same with lawn bowls, because I've just taken that up over the last 12 months, is that I know that I've got really strong legs because I've been really working on my strength in my legs, so that, because you lunge a lot. So if you're not used to that, your legs get fatigued. So I make sure that I've got really, really strong legs so that no matter what's thrown at me and no matter how many ends I've got to play or no matter how many hours I've got to be out there, my legs can carry that. I've had feet issues on and off over the years from my tennis days, and I've had plantar fasciitis many a time, recovered from that very well. I'll be doing a lot of videos on that in the future on like a foot boot camp on how to improve that. But my feet are strong because I've been working on my feet, because I've got to be on my feet all the time. I've spent my life on my feet in tennis and golf, coaching in tennis and golf, right, and other sports. I had a sports skills business, so I've got strong feet, right? The other thing that I know is that I'm strong mentally because I work on my mental side of my game all the time. I'm constantly working on my focus. I'm constantly working on concentration. I'm constantly going through meditation processes in teaching myself to focus better, right? So I know I've got these strengths. The other thing that I know that I can do is I can identify the lines in where I need to bowl to, right? And then just yesterday, I've just discovered a way in which I can then get my distances better during competition, right? So I know I've got these strengths in place, and it's the excitement that I have for that, right? So what are your strengths that you've got in your sport? What do you have that you could list as strengths? So that's the first thing I want you to do, is write down what your strengths are. Actually, another great thing that I forgot to mention is routines. Routines are so important. Like if you've got good routines in place in how you approach your shot, what you do during your shot and what you do after your shot, those routines help keep you balanced and steady. It's a way in which you feel like you've got control over your game. So that's a big thing that I make sure that I've always focused on, which I learnt that through golf. I didn't do that with tennis when I was younger because I didn't know that you could do all that sort of stuff then. It wasn't a big thing. But and now venturing into bowls, it's a big thing that I make sure that my routines are always the same. I'm always doing the same thing so that I've got that consistency and control. So that's another really good thing to make sure that you have in place. And if you don't have that as a strength yet, that's a really good thing that you want to be working on. And another great thing that I have is that positive language. Okay, come on, you can keep going. You've done the work. You know, I'm strong and capable. There's so many great affirmations that you can be referring back to that can help maintain your positive outlook and also you focusing on staying in the moment. And I've actually put together, like, it's only about a 3.5 minute podcast episode, and all you're doing is you're just listening to positive affirmations in building confidence in your sport. So if you when you get an opportunity to listen to that, just 3 minutes, there's a bit of background music on that too. You can listen to that. That will help with that mindset side of things as well. That's if you don't have that already. But I want you to make sure that you're really, really putting this in place right now, is listing out what your strengths are. And you want to do that because you want to make sure that you are really aware of what your strengths are, because the other thing is it makes you feel good, it makes you feel confident about your sport, right? So even though we have challenging times, these are areas in which I can rely on when I'm performing in my sport. I know that these are my strengths, these are my go-tos. So another thing that we can do when we're focusing on the positives is reflecting on good performances. Like actually look back in the past, right? So I talk about you don't always want to bring the past into the future, especially when it's been quite a negative experience for you. But when you have had such a positive experience, or something where you've performed really well, you want to look at that. What was it? What was the event where you performed really well? And how did you feel? Like, what was actually going on for you when you were doing that? Were you in the moment? Were you calm and relaxed? I know, like, when I've played my best performances in golf especially, is that I've just been focused and stayed in the moment to the point where everything went into that flow state, right? So that everything just flowed and everything was just so easy. And I was calm the whole time, all the way through. And all I focused on was just routines, right? So I knew that I had control. So I know that when I get into that state and I focus on getting into that state, that I perform so much better. So those are the things that you want to look at, is like, okay, well, when I've performed previously in my sport, what is it that I've done that's actually made me perform well? Analyse that. Go back and have a look at that. Reflect on it. Feel like you're back in when that happened. And take notes. Take the notes. Write it out. Don't just keep it in your mind. Write it out, because you'll actually start to see some things coming about. And when you see those arrive on the piece of paper, then you'll go, oh yeah, I know what I need to be doing there. Oh yeah, okay, I haven't been doing that for a while. Oh yeah, gee whiz, I was actually speaking better to myself. Oh great. Oh yeah, I did have some routines in place. Oh yeah, I felt really calm that day, right? And then you're like, right, okay, these are the things that I need to be focusing on. How you do them, then we can talk about that in another episode. But what you can do for now is you can get them out of your head and onto paper, so you actually know what you need to do in moving forward. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode. This is all about looking at the positives, focusing on the positives of things that's happened in your past, how you've performed so much better, what you've actually done, the processes you went through to make those great events happen for you when you've competed in your sport. The other thing is looking at what your strengths are and of identifying them, because then you know that you can you have the confidence in those strengths, because then you can use those in moving forward. So I hope you got a lot out of that information that I shared with you today. Love it if you could share with me what you like best about what you heard today, wherever you hear this podcast episode. And for now, I want you to dream big, believe in you, go after your dreams, have an absolutely awesome day. Take care, talk soon. Bye for now.